Hey guys, we're back with another episode. This is WordsrTough. My name is Jose Rodriguez, and I am here with my co-host
David Diokendo.
And we have another episode for you about some wonderful pictures that we've seen recently.
Moving pictures.
Moving pictures?
Isn't that what they used to call movies back in the day? Moving pictures or moving?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. I guess entertainment and stuff, but there's a few movies that came out recently that would be fun to talk about, or not just like movie shows. There's things that we have watched. I know you mentioned Fear Street some like episodes ago, and I did convince my wife to watch it. She didn't quite like it in the beginning, especially like literally the first scene, the first like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. There's like someone dies, and it's like, oh, okay, oh. All right. It's like very in the beginning you kind of think, oh, this is just like an R.L. Stine adaptation, and he was fairly PG, I guess, for kids. And then it's called Fear Street. But you know what I don't like about the title Fear Street? I wish they changed the word fear with the woman or the main, I guess, the bad guy in a way. Her last name was Fear, F-I-E-R. I wish they did changed it to Fear Street, not Fear Street, F-I-E-R Street.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because in the actual show it's F-I-E-R Street.
Yeah.
Like they show the actual sign, and I'm like, is that like a typo? Like, are they? I don't know. I just thought like that was like one thing that I wanted to critique about that. Or not one thing. I have a lot. I mean, I liked it, but there's also things I just didn't like or get. It's like one of those shows, and this is, well, I guess you can explain it better, but it's like a 3-parter.
Yeah, yeah, it's a 3-part series, and the first episode takes place in 1994, and it kind of like goes backwards. So it goes 1994 to 72 or 76.
I think it's like mid-70s. I think 76, 78.
Yeah,
I don't know,
might be
but the 70s.
So. Yeah, then it goes to the 70s. Then it goes to 1666.
Yeah, 1669.
Yeah, so it goes back into like, you know, the days where they were looking out for witches and things like that. So yeah, I started in the same boat. Like when I mentioned it the first time, it was like super cheesy, and there's kind of like a direct correlation with the cheesiness and the brutality that begins. It's like, like as the cheesiness goes down, the brutality goes up through the episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I liked the whole very in-your-face kill scenes. There's like movies in the past, like, with Michael Myers or Jason, where like it's suggestive violence, or even like Alien, like the first Alien movie. It's very much like a brief, like, what was that? And they get killed, but you don't actually see the aftermath sometimes, but you don't actually see the actual murder or killing itself. Yeah, this movie or movies, it's very much like, yeah, this is they're getting just hacked to death, and it's not once or twice. It's like they just keep you in that scene. I'm like, okay, they're dead or dying. I get it. Like, and just keep showing you the scenes, like, and almost always the stab scenes. They're almost all stab killings, I guess. But yeah, that's one thing I liked, but also didn't really like. It's like, okay, I get it. It's almost like a sex scene that kind of goes too long. Like, you kind of get it. Like, I get it. Like, after 2 seconds, but they just keep you on that scene. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it was. I mean, obviously it was intentional, but. My wife did. She liked it same, like kind of like me, where as the story progressed, it's like, oh, okay, I kind of like it. I kind of see where this is going. I like the character building, the world building, and everything. But I mean, I hate to give it a grade, but the one thing I actually didn't like that I wish they changed completely, and I hate critiquing artists this harshly, is the main character or the main actress who plays, I honestly forgot her name already, but not the actress, but the actual character, but the main girl. Mm-hmm. This episode is sponsored by Nbox, a modern mailing center designed to meet the security needs of our time, whether it's shopping for our favorite products or paying monthly bills, statistics show a transition to online convenience. It's quick and simple, which is why we love it. Unfortunately, it's created a new kind of criminal that seeks to steal your identity or take package right from your porch. As a listener, you can enjoy $5 off the lifetime of your subscription to an Nbox package plan when you enter tough words without spaces at checkout. Visit www.nboxdelivers.com to learn more.
Awesome. I love Nbox. Check out their website below, and you can check out all their services, their service area, and definitely love using their services. And for our next sponsor, we have Premier Rank Marketing. They can help you out if you have a business, whether it's selling stuff online or you have a brick and mortar location, restaurants, gyms. The company's helped so many people during the pandemic grow their online presence. So if you need any help from social media to Facebook targeting campaigns, Google, LinkedIn, and all the other, even TikTok, they do TikTok ads. Just reach out to Premier Rank Marketing and let them know that WordsrTough sent you, and they'll hook you up with a huge discount. Our third sponsor here, we have Worldwide Solutions, located in Clifton. They do taxes, travel, and insurance. Any type of business needs you have. They can even, give you a good direction to go if you need some payroll services, things like that. And definitely check them out. Their info is right below. And our fourth sponsor is Rick's Barbershop in Garfield, New Jersey. If you have a important date coming up, you're going to a wedding, things like that, you're going to be photographed, definitely check them out. They're the most precise barbers in the area, and they'll definitely hook you up if you tell them WordsrTough sent you. Jose and David just mention those names, and they'll be like, no problem, right away. We'll hook you up. We just want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, and back to the show.
I just didn't.
The one that in the last one she plays like the fear
Yes.
girl, right?
Yeah. The main actress. I'm just like, oh, I just don't like her acting. I don't know. It was whatever it was. It was just like I just don't like it.
Yeah, she gave me a vibe like I've seen her in something else before that I didn't like her in. And same thing when I saw specifically the first one, I was like not feeling it.
Yeah, just wasn't a fan of. I don't know, and it could be just the writing, maybe.
No, I think she's just one of those polarizing people. Like you either hate her or love her,
Like the woman that played Captain Marvel, Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Kind of like either love her or hate her.
Yeah, she warmed up on me though. I didn't like her too in the beginning.
I liked her in Scott Pilgrim. I liked Brie Larson in Scott Pilgrim many years ago. I thought she was great at being. I guess in the movie she's a bitch. Like she's just a really not in real life, but in the movie she plays like a bitchy character, and I'm like, oh yeah, she just plays that really well. And then like you see her interviews, like, oh wait, maybe she's not acting. Maybe that's actually how she kind of is a little bit. But I don't know. But the Fear Street, I liked it. I like how it developed, how it kind of like continues like this sort of lore and kind of pulls you in, and even towards the end it kind of leaves it kind of open-ended a little bit, kind of suggesting it might be more, but the ensemble, like everyone else, all the other actors are pretty good actually. I really enjoyed it. And that one girl from Stranger Things, I think Stranger Things 3, she's a redhead.
Yeah,
she's in it, and she plays pretty good role in it. In the second version, the 1970s version of the movie series is pretty good actually. I mean overall, I hate to give it a grade. I kind of give it a C. C's like passing. I was entertained by it. It was good, but It wasn't like wow, like this is like remarkable, amazing. There's like a few things that it could have just been not the bad writing. It could have been the writing, could have been some of the acting, but however, the A+ is definitely the death scenes or the murder scenes. It's like that's like yeah.
Yeah. Also, I like how they tied in towards the last episode where you find out, I don't want to give any spoilers, but just you get the real like twist in the whole story. I thought they did a good job at that. Like usually when movies are kind of cheesy like that, the end is kind of no payoff.
It's kind of linear.
Yeah. And then this one had like somewhat of a payoff with the story. Like you kind of,
it's like
made it interesting.
Yeah, it's like the perceived truth of what some of the characters think what's actually happening, and then towards the end they actually show you what actually really happened, which kind of changed your perception of like the whole series altogether. So I guess if I were to watch it again, knowing what I know at the end of the third, maybe I might perceive it a little bit differently. Or I might have picked up certain things, but overall, I mean, it was a good show. I recommend everyone watching it, but it wasn't like this like phenomenal
Lord of the Rings.
Like, even I mean, I don't really like the Lord of the Rings.
You don't like Lord of the Rings?
Not really. No. Well, I like it as in like but like the one, you know what ruined with me Lord of the Rings? The eagles at the end. It's like you could have just had eagles the whole time.
I didn't watch the ending of Lord of the Rings.
Like the ending, you know, when everything's said and done, you know, Gandalf, the white Gandalf, he just calls on these birds, these eagles. They're not, I don't think they're called eagles, but they're really, really big birds. I just kind of just pluck them, and they just fly away, and they drop them off. I'm like, you could have just done that the whole time. Why did he have to do this whole journey? I don't know.
And by citing Lord of the Rings, I don't mean that's my personal. I just mean like, you know, it's known as like one of the standard like amazing trilogies.
Epic, yeah.
They had more obviously after that, but
yeah,
you know, just like I guess the pinnacle of those types of things.
I mean, the one thing that I liked but didn't like at the same time, they kind of pulled. I mean, I don't think they pulled it from Stranger Things, but like Stranger Things kind of did it, and then Fear Street did it as well. But they did it too much. Was the having songs from that era being played as a soundtrack, and I liked it but didn't, because I liked it because, oh cool, like they're acknowledging using the soundtrack from that time for the film, but especially in the first film in the 1994 setting, it was like every 15 to 30 seconds, especially the first half of the movie, it was just like one song after the other after the other after the other, just to throw in songs in there. I'm like, how much money do you spend on copyright things just for these songs? Like, but it was just like, oh, it's kind of like, I get it. You're giving a homage to all these songs, but to this era, but it was kind of arbitrary. Like, just start throwing songs in there, all the hits.
I think that makes it appealing to kids and younger generations that weren't around for that. Kind of like when we would watch like movies from like the 70s. You know, and they'd have like Led Zeppelin and like Rolling Stones playing, and it would give us this effect, you know. But like us being in the 90s, it was kind of like, you know, like you're just looking at it.
Films that were set in the 70s or films that actually were made in the 70s?
No, films that were like set in the 70s, and us being like, you know, 80s, 90s mostly, we'd watch that and we wouldn't think about that, you know, but people, maybe that's how people felt that were from the 70s when those movies were released. You know what I mean?
Maybe.
That's what that kind of getting at.
Yeah. It was just too much for me. It's like I kind of got it, but it's like it was just like, all right, you can stop now. With all the music. But overall, it was. I mean, it's not so much the amount of music. It's like it was literally one after the other. Like, for example, Guardians of the Galaxy. Even though the time of the actual movies aren't taking place of the time of the actual music. I mean, it's pretty much a themed. The soundtracks are a theme, pretty much, but they're not like every 30 seconds. It's more like it's kind of spaced, so that has room to breathe. But in Fear Street, it's just like one song after the other for like 30 minutes for like the first half.
They try to really pack it in.
Yeah, they really packed in that first half of the movie with just music. I don't know. For some people, I guess it's good. For other people, is sort of. I mean, I do recommend people watching it, especially those that are into like that kind of genre. But it was. I mean, I watched it because you recommended it, and I like horror, but yeah, I give it a C+. C. I don't know. 3 out of 5. 3 sausages out of 5. I don't know how many. 3. Gotcha. I don't know what this guy's name is, but 3 eggs out of 5.
3 eggs, okay. Yeah, I would say I rate the first one lower than the second two.
I agree.
And then the second two are kind of like mid-level, you know, and like entertaining. Yeah, the girl from Stranger Things, I think, brought that one to the next level. And also they had the lady who was like her and I guess her sister or whatever. In the first one, that she was older. Remember, like they went to her house, and she was
kind of
younger.
telling the story.
Yeah. I think that was made it a little better as far as the whole story went. But yeah, I think the camp one was good, and then the last one was really brutal. It gave me that like village vibe, like
Yeah.
So I kind of got a lot more into that one than the 3.
Kind of had a bit of an A24 vibe.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of that, there's 2 movies. One, did you see the trailer for the movie Lamb?
No, I did not.
So I guess I'll summarize the actual trailer, or maybe we can't cut it into this video. That'd be a lot of flags to put the trailer into this video, into this podcast. But pretty much, and this is in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. They're the woman that plays in Prometheus, and also the one that plays in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I forgot her name, but she's a great actress.
Rooney Mara?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. They don't speak English in the movie. I don't know what they speak, but it's subtitled. And you're in a farm, and you see this sheep giving birth, and then they take the baby into the house, and you realize the baby has the head of a sheep but a body of a human.
Oh shit.
And this is in the trailer, so I'm not spoiling anything. I mean, you literally see a child with a lamb head and walking around, and it looks so unsettling and creepy and just very bizarre. I mean, it seems like they're giving the whole movie away in the trailer, but of course it's an A24 movie. Like, they're not giving anything away. But it's something that I really want to watch. Like, okay, what is this baby with a lamb's head living? Like, is he like Satan? Like, what's going on with this? Like, is it like the Antichrist? I have no clue. But it's lamb, so in reference of like, Jesus and whatever, and it's literally a lamb baby. I don't know, but I don't know when it's coming out, but I saw the trailer when I was actually at the movie to watch The Green Knight, which is actually, I gave it, I don't know, 10 stars or 5 stars.
5 eggs?
So 5 eggs, 5 sausages, I don't know.
That's awesome.
It was pretty amazing. I mean, I recommend my friend Joel. We went to Five Guys yesterday. We shot some archery at a range, and I told him, listen, you need to watch this movie. You're not gonna like it, but you should watch it. So it's one of those movies where I recommend people to watch it, but I'm also gonna tell you may not like it, but it's a good movie. And because unless you actually know the folklore, you're gonna like get lost, or it's a little bit slow for some people. There's no action. There's like 0 action in it. And this is also, I mean, I'm not giving anything away, but it's, I guess I might spoil it already. Maybe I won't.
Yeah,
but I won't spoil it. But like, this guy who Dev Patel plays is it's a term called a fail son. Mm-hmm. And you ever heard that term, fail son? So a fail son, I actually wrote it down, is an incompetent, unsuccessful mid to upper class man who is protected from economic duress by his family's wealth and or influence.
Okay.
So it's this kind of guy that kind of was just lucky to be born into an established family, a royal family. And, it shows throughout the movie like, oh, like he's not this noble guy. He actually is when he's actually put into a challenging situation, it's not like the stereotypical like Captain America. He conquers his obstacles and beats the bad guy and gets the woman and everything. I mean, which you kind of see in the actual trailer, but they really push that that character, and he's almost unlikable. It's like a very unlikable type of person, but the movie, they kind of take you along the 5 pillars or the 5 virtues of knighthood, and he just fails at all of them. And then again, but it's an A24 movie, so it's more like the visuals and the timing and the pacing of the movie and all the symbolism behind it. But saying all that, I'm not giving anything away, but
yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out. It looked really good. The trailer did, and looking forward to checking it out. Speaking, you just actually with the Lamb trailer, you actually gave me one that I hadn't had prepared, but I saw it over the pandemic, and it'll freak you out. It's like a really freaky movie. It's subtitled. It's called Border. It's a Swedish movie.
oh,
And basically, not to give anything away, because the best part, like if you're planning on watching the movie, don't even look it up because you're gonna ruin it for yourself. Just
I'm not looking
look
it
it up. Just I mean, not look it up, but check it out where you can. Like I guess search on your Fire Stick or something. It'll tell you where you can watch it. Just put it on. It'll blow your mind. It was amazing, and it's like I said, it's subtitled Swedish movie, so you got to really get into it and watch, and you'll learn the story. But
because I thought you were gonna talk about this film called it's called A Serbian Film.
oh no.
And that's a name that a friend told me about. Yeah, it's this movie called A Serbian Film. I'm like, what's it called? A Serbian Film. I'm like, that's the name of it? And he's like, yeah. I don't recommend anyone to watch it. It's really bad. And I saw it. Well, he saw it on a date thinking, hey, this might lead to something else on the date. It did not. It just within like 20 minutes, it's like, can we stop watching this? And I ended up watching it, and it scarred me for like a few years. And it's really a lot of these Scandinavian foreign films. I don't know what their ratings are, like what they allow. They allow a lot of stuff.
That's pretty much their thing. Like they want to
lot.
go out into like places that people haven't been to yet. Like on
Or
in
topics
cinema.
or
Yeah.
It's very, but
like even the maybe now it's more normalized, but like a girl with a dragon tattoo, that was a little strong, and that actually wasn't an American
which
film.
version?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. The first one was in another country, right? Was it German, or
I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't English.
or maybe Finland, or something like
Finnish.
that. But it's a remake. The one that Rooney Mara was in, that was a little rough too around that time. But yeah, they like to go all over the place and find new
they have
boundaries.
no problem showing like, someone violating somebody else, or and like similar like the Fear Street. A lot of some of the hard scenes to watch, they kind of just linger on those parts sometimes. Like they really drag those scenes along, and you're like, what am I watching? Is this like? As an adult, you're like, Jesus, okay. But yeah, it's but is that like the norm in those sort of Scandinavian countries, or are those like bleeding edge kind of movies that like nobody watches?
I think they just like they're so desensitized over there. They need something to spark their interest.
But it's also like being an actor. Like, hey, you're gonna have this really bad scene, like imagine being an actor and you're like, oh yeah, I need to like sodomize this person, like acting it out, like Jesus. Like, I don't know. Like if someone were to hire me to do that, I'm like, I don't even think I could like talk about that without being uncomfortable, as opposed to like acting it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think when they get the script, they gotta be like, the director has to have a talk with them, like, this is a scene that you probably haven't done before, and you got to really bring your A game.
Yeah.
Like mentally, to, I guess put in the performance, disassociate yourself. And
I would love to contact Down Day-Lewis and listen. Supposedly you're the GOAT right now when it comes to acting. I want you to play one of these like Scandinavian films.
Didn't he retire?
And go, I
think he retired.
What does that even mean? Retire? I'll repeat what my professor said in grad school. He says, artists don't retire, artists just die. As long as he's alive, he can still make movies. I don't know if they say that, like, oh, I'm retired. But
I think it's just he said it at like when he received a reward, like an award. He was just like, I'm withdrawing myself from future whatever.
He makes a film every 5 years, so it doesn't like I don't know. Like he's a legit actor.
Maybe he's making
but
a film about someone who's retiring, so he's like getting into his role, because he's like a method actor.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think one actor that like seemed to completely destroy his career, but got back and like got an Oscar was Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah. Remember when he was
Like,
doing that rap thing? That was funny.
Like disturbing, funny, but yeah, he just grew his beard out and then like played this sort of character for like this sort of role, and people couldn't figure out like, hey, is this a character? Is this for a role? Is this you just losing your mind? And it took a few years before like I don't think he did anything after that for a while, and then got back to actually playing normal roles, and then like
they released a documentary about it.
Yeah, was a documentary. Was he specifically filming a documentary? I actually never saw it, so I couldn't really figure out.
I think he was just documenting him doing the rap thing, and he like actually did it, and it was like they were just documenting him doing it, and because there's parts in the documentary, I think it's called "I'm Still Here."
Yes, it's called that.
And there's parts of it when he has breakdowns, and he's like, "What am I doing? Like, why am I doing this?" and whatever. Like, but I guess he just committed to it, know. And it's very interesting.
But he wasn't performing for a documentary. He was just doing something that just happened to be documenting it.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And he was just doing it because he decided this would be awesome to do. And he did some shows on the thing, and like some went good, some went really bad.
The only thing I remember is like during mid rap, mid song, he just dropped the mic and just jumped into like a crowd of people and started punching a guy. That's the thing I remember. Some guy like spit at him or said something to him, and he just dropped the mic and just jumped into the crowd, started punching him. And I'm like, and this is maybe 10 years ago by this point. I was like, wait, is this real? Is he just acting? I couldn't figure it out. But somehow years later, he gets an Oscar for playing the Joker.
Yeah.
And one of those movies where I told friends that I acknowledge that it was a masterpiece, but I hated it at the same time. It's like great movie that I actually hated, and I think I already mentioned this before, but it was one of those films where I just feel like they not went too far, but I feel like if someone wasn't in their right mind and watched that film, they might feel like justified into being a violent or committing violent acts, because the film kind of justifies him being violent and killing in that way. That's always my fear of
about like the system failing.
Yeah, and I agree with that, but like I think I'm a sober-minded person, so that I wasn't like, oh yeah, I agree. I should just like randomly shoot some guys. Not a good idea. Don't do that.
Yeah, my thing with that movie was like how when it first came out, people were instantly like either making it like the next big masterpiece, or people were just like ripping it apart that it was the worst thing ever. That's what made me want to see it, and it actually made me wait to see it, because I'm like, I don't want my opinion to be swayed by any of this. So I waited a little bit to watch it, then I watched it. I thought it was great.
It is a great movie.
Yeah, I thought it was great. Because I'm a big Joaquin Phoenix fan, so I was like, let it simmer for a little bit. But yeah, it was good, and I love that it was shot at Newark. So
yeah, parts of it.
Awesome. Yeah. So that
adding
was cool.
more traffic to already packed and trafficked area, but okay.
Yeah, I think Newark made some money, and so did they with that. So
it's just I'm always it's this weird thing, like acknowledging something is great art, but also acknowledging that, hey, it's not almost too good, but they send a message so clearly and so well, when it's so much artistry and almost beautiful in a way, that it can romanticize psychopathy, or it can romanticize a person going, like a better word, crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's beautiful, and it's the orchestra and the music is awesome, and like the scene where he's in the bathroom, kind of dancing, or even like the scene where he's going down the stairs dancing and all that. It can kind of create this sort of like, oh, like that's me, and like, no, kid, don't do that. Don't go to your school and do something crazy.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing where I'm like, as an artist, I can appreciate it, but like thinking like, is there a possibility that someone might misinterpret this as like a rational reason to do something really stupid? Yeah. Possibly, and that scares me, but that's why when I watch like I guess I mentioned Lord of the Rings, like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, or I don't know, Game of Thrones or something like that. It's like, yeah, that's obviously fantasy, and there's a lot of like sorcery and killing and anything. And for the most part, they're all really great films. Or Game of Thrones is not a film, but it's literally like you're watching a bunch of movies in the course of like, I don't know, years. But it doesn't make me uneasy because it's obviously fantasy, but the Joker is so grounded in like reality. It's like almost too grounded,
Yeah, definitely.
Almost too grounded,
Yeah, and a lot of things it reminds me of. It's funny that De Niro's in that movie.
Yeah,
because it's like almost like, for me, it was like, let's say somebody that was writing the script was just like, let's put the Joker and let's combine Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
And there was the other movie where De Niro was the stand-up comedian. Have you seen that movie? I forgot the name of it.
It's not as popular as Taxi Driver, but...
Yeah, I forgot the name of it, but it's a movie where he plays a stand-up comedian, and he's always trying to get on this one show, and he gets his way on the show. Well, anyway, if I'll try to find the name of it, but it's like if you took Taxi Driver and that movie, combined it, and slapped the Joker on the main character, that's kind of what it felt like to me. So, it was really interesting, though. I like how they threw in that twist with that he was supposedly adopted, but he was really...
Yeah. It's as... I mean, and also as like a Joker fan, yeah, I can't find... The King of Comedy?
King of Comedy, yep. That's the second movie that De Niro's in.
As a Joker, as like a DC fan, and the whole stick to the source material kind of thing, like the appeal of the Joker in the comics, or even like some of the movies, is the fact that people don't know his real name. People don't know how he got scars, or how he got the white paint and everything, and that sort of mystery of like how like that's the whole thing about, don't justify, don't try to reason with, or how do you say, justify reason with like crazy. That's the appeal, I guess, of the character. Like, it's not like there's no rationale behind it. There's no like these things happen to create this person. It's like it's a kind of mystery, and I think the writers in the comics intended for that to happen, to the point where like in different comics he has different names. He just says, yeah, my mom's name, or my name is this, my name is that, but no one believes him because he's crazy. So because of that, some of the parts of the movie, or the whole like explaining the character, sort of like, that's not really the point of the character. But also, I don't know, the end of the movie, where the woman's talking, the therapist or shrink is talking to him, and he starts giggling or smiling, and it's like, what are you laughing at? And he's like, oh, you wouldn't understand. Mm-hmm. There's one theory of the Joker, or people that watching Joker, that part of him saying you wouldn't understand is you watched his imagination go wild, and that whole movie is what he was thinking about while sitting there, and that's why he laughs. And so there's this sort of suggestion that maybe what you just watched is just him imagining things. Like, maybe if he was Bruce Wayne's, and by this point, if you didn't see the Joker, then I'm sorry. Like, it's been a while since it became. He was Bruce Wayne's half brother, and he was like the long lost son of, I forgot the father's name, but Mr. Wayne, Bruce Wayne's dad. So that's my sort of take on the ending. It was like, maybe he wasn't. This isn't an actual canon story. It's just the Joker just fantasizing or thinking about a what if story in his brain during a session.
Yeah.
Did you view it that way, or is that new?
I did hear about that. But that is an interesting theory, to think about. I don't think that that's what happened, but it could work,
I like that.
Could be a cool
I like
one.
that. Well, that version kind of helps me. Okay, maybe it's not canon, so all right, fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Is there any? I think you mentioned. I'm drawing a blank, but there's a show that you mentioned that you said you want to talk about, but I don't even remember it. So maybe it was Fear Street. I think it was.
I don't think so. Another movie I want to mention. I think I mentioned it before last time, but just in case people didn't watch that episode, I'll just mention it again. It's the movie Apostle.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a very brutal movie. It involves some ritualistic stuff and like some kind of like mass hysteria type themes in that, But yeah, that's something that would be cool for you guys to watch.
Yeah. I mean, one, I guess you can say, blockbuster sort is The Suicide Squad. Not to get confused by Suicide Squad. So that's the first one, and The Suicide Squad is the second one. Why not the one, the two? I don't know. I don't think it's a sequel. I'm not really sure of how these two films work together. If one comes after the other or whatever, I think it does. I don't really know, but I couldn't stand the first one, Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is like amazing.
I think they made a big mistake naming it the same exact thing
With the.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest mistake they made because it did very terrible in the box office. But yeah, I heard this one is way better.
Yeah, it's. I saw it at home. I told a friend about the box office thing. He's like, "Oh, why did you see Black Widow at home?" And I was like, "Because they gave me access to watch it at home." And he's like, "Then why did you watch the Green Knight in the theater?" Like, because I couldn't watch it at home. That's why I went.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's it." I'm like, "That's it." It wasn't like, "Oh, I need to see it in the real." Like, I think if you give people incentives to not go to the theater and watch at home, even if you suggest, hey, watch it in the theater because of the experience, they're gonna watch it at home because they're already paying for it. So
Yeah.
if you want people to watch a movie in the theater, play it in the theater and not in Disney Plus or Amazon or whatever. But I do agree. I think that even for me, it was like, wait, so is this like a revamp of the first one? Well, they have a black guy, just like the first one. They have Will Smith, and now I think it was Deadshot, and they have Idris Elba as Bloodsport. Same kind of character, just assassin, mercenary, bad dad, or absent father kind of thing. But I feel like this is the Suicide Squad is the film that Suicide Squad wanted to be, but failed miserably at. So.
And who was the Joker in it?
No,
This time?
thank God. No.
I heard Jared Leto might be doing a second role for that.
Jared Leto, I don't know. Just stay on your island, and he has an island too. Just stay on your island and continue your cult. I don't know. Like he
just did a recent movie that was pretty good, where he was like a murder suspect. And
okay,
it was pretty
yeah,
awesome. I forgot the name, but I do know what that one movie I wanted to mention was. I went to see Old. That's the one that I mentioned to you. Yeah, Old, the new M. Night Shyamalan film.
Oh, where they're on a beach and they get old.
Uh-huh.
That's a really bad summary of it. But I mean, the trailer I saw that it's a sort of family or families. They're at this sort of like cove, this sort of like private kind of beach area that's kind of enclosed.
Yeah.
And this is all in the trailer. I didn't see the film, but and then like one thing leads to another, and like these little kids are like grown all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So is it good? And then
I would say in the hierarchy of M. Night Shyamalan films, you got like Signs at the top. He did Sixth Sense, right? Maybe
Yes,
he did, right?
Yeah, that was his sort of like, Mona Lisa of sorts.
So you have those at the top, and then you have like, I like also Split.
Mm-hmm.
That trilogy that he did
with
was
Glass
cool.
and
I have those at the top. Then
Unbreakable.
You have like a little bit down at the bottom, like The Village, Lady in the Water. Those were pretty cool.
Lady
too.
in the Water was
yeah, some people didn't like that one,
bad.
But I would say Old is right up there with those. Like they're pretty good. It was good. I like twists. Some of the twists he misses horribly. This one works really well. It's very topical, and I think you won't be disappointed. It's kind of brilliant, like the way it all works out.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very intense. A lot of different there's a lot of cast on that beach that are all like contrasting characters, and a lot of things happen that you're like, how the hell is this gonna work when you're aging so fast?
Yeah.
So,
I mean that kind of. I just saw the trailer and then I didn't hear anything because usually a lot of times when you go on YouTube, you type in, you see a trailer and it kind of gives you follow-up interviews or whatever. Like I saw the trailer one time and the damn algorithm didn't get any follow-up videos or didn't even know when it was gonna come out, and it came out already. It's at theaters already.
Yep. Yeah, I saw it in theaters. It was good. I recommend it if you have like, you don't want to. It's not gonna blow your hair back or anything, but definitely a good night. If it's like a Thursday night, you want to go to the movies, it'll get the job done.
But it sounds familiar because there's a show, and I don't know if anyone knows the name of the show, but it's a recent show about flying, about this sort of family that's in a commercial airline.
Manifest?
I don't know, maybe. Okay. Where they fly and then they come back and then the kids are older all of a sudden.
Oh, they were like in a missing flight. Yeah, I think that's Manifest.
Manifest, yeah. So it's a kind of odd timing that, not same premise, but the whole age thing, you're older and...
Yeah, that one is like the plane was gone for like 4 years or 6 years.
Yeah, like for them, they were gone for a long time or for a brief time, or I don't know. But it's one of those. It's an odd way of. I mean, I can't explain it because I didn't watch it, but
yeah, I think for them, they just took the trip and they landed like if nothing ever happened. But when they land, they get off the plane. The guy's like, "You guys have all been pronounced dead. It's 4 years later since your plane took off."
Wow.
And so people like the show a lot on Manifest, but I haven't watched it, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, but wouldn't you know? So the people that were in the plane got old?
Nah, they they were still the same.
They're the same age. Yeah. It's other people that were on land that got old.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like if they went up into the air into some time warp bubble that
like Bermuda Triangle kind of thing.
Yeah, that kept them the same age, and time passed, and then they came out of that bubble and landed.
I might need to watch that. That's interesting. It's an interesting premise. But I mean,
that's just from what I know going into the first episode. Okay. How the show, maybe some stuff happens in the story where it changes, but I know that's how, like, if you're watching the pilot, that's how it goes.
Going back to the Suicide Squad, what I like the most about it that the first movie didn't do is that this is a weird thing about, like, if you were to get all these criminals or these bad guys or these C or B rate characters from DC and put them together in a team, they wouldn't actually work well together just because they have their powers, and doesn't mean they'll just, like, some magically weird way they'll just like, oh, we just a good team together. In the first movie, they failed to show that, how, like, actually a team like this wouldn't actually succeed. The second film, did you see it already?
No.
They kind of show you, like, oh, this is how, in the first 20 or so minutes, they'll show you, like, oh, this is how that should be, like, because these random people that don't really know each other, that are obviously like criminals or up to no good, and they're self-seeking and selfish, and they're just doing this because they want to cut time out of their sentence. They won't really work well together because they're kind of just doing their own thing, and it kind of shows in the first 10-15 minutes of the movie, like, oh yeah, that's exactly how it should be. And then the movie kind of continues rolling after that, but which I like a lot. Similar to I'm kind of spoiling it, but similar to Deadpool 2, where he assembles X-Force. and everyone's like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome, and they're gonna work together, and then like, I mean, if you haven't seen Deadpool 2 by this point, I'm sorry, but then they all die before they even land. Wait, have you seen Deadpool 2? Yeah, that scene. I love how they just kind of subverted like everyone's expectations. I was dying laughing in the theater when I saw that scene, and how the invisible character was Brad Pitt. Like he just like gets electrocuted and dies, and you would think Terry Crews is like a pretty A-list celebrity, just like he's only in the movie for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, rest in peace, right? He passed away.
He does in real life.
Terry Crews?
No,
I thought he passed away. No. Oh, okay.
I hope not. I don't think so.
I guess I had bad information.
Not all black people look the same. No, I'm pretty sure Terry Crews did not pass away.
Okay, that's good. Okay, perfect.
Good.
He's alive.
We're good on
Sorry
that. Okay,
that.
Terry Crews is not dead.
That was Debo then, I guess. From Friday, I think is the one that died.
Oh yes,
Debo. Yeah, I think he just recently passed.
And also, he does a lot of beats with his mouth. That doesn't really help at all.
Rozelle?
No, I have the song saved.
Rozelle reference out
We're
there?
really bad at Biz Markie.
Oh, okay.
Biz Markie, he passed away maybe like 3 weeks ago from this recording.
Shit.
Yeah, like at like 50, early 50s. Not even like that's. I mean, my students might consider 50-something old, but the older I get, 50 and 60 doesn't seem that old.
Yeah, we're approaching 40 already. It's crazy. I'm like...
In 5 years, I'll be 40 years old. It was crazy.
40's the new 30.
Yeah, well, I told my wife, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm older than Danny Tanner, who's Bob Saget, Bob Saget's Danny Tanner in Full House. And there's an episode where Danny Tanner turns 30 and he feels old. And I'm like, but you have 3 kids.
Yeah.
That are like of not significant age, but like 10 or so or 12 in a house. Like, what do you do for a living? Like, how's that even possible with 3 kids? It's even crazy.
Yeah. If anyone knows what Danny Tanner's occupation is, please leave a comment
what
below.
What is Danny Tanner's occupation? Because like John Stamos and the other actor, like John Stamos plays Uncle Joey plays like a musician, I believe. And
I think he writes jingles, right, or something.
Yeah,
like
that. And then the other guy, the other uncle, I don't know. All I know is that he dated Alanis Morissette.
Yeah, I was gonna drop that fun fact right now.
You didn't know that? Okay.
Uncle Joey,
that's
the
only thing I know. And then he's a comedian, but I don't know what Danny Tanner actually does as a living.
Yeah.
Do they even make that clear?
I don't know.
Is he just like a house dad?
I think maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We got to do some deep digging on that.
Yeah.
I'll do a quick search while you.
but the Suicide Squad, I like the Green Knight, 2 completely different movies, different tones, different production, different directors, different everything, but a very, very entertaining movie. And my favorite scene, and I'm not giving anything away, Idris Elba's character has an interaction with his daughter, and it's not lovey-dovey. It's very like real and like, oh yeah, that's exactly how a criminal with a really bad past as a terrible father would talk with and to his daughter who's up to no good. It's like, you remember like the scene where with the Flash in the Justice League where he talks to his dad and they put their hands on the glass and it's very intimate, like, oh, you're gonna be up, you're gonna do so much great things. It's not like that in any way. It's like a great scene. I'm like, that's exactly how that would go. And I've seen former students of mine talk with their parents, and it's like a lot like that. Like very just hostile. I'm like, oh gosh, like I gotta like be a referee and like separate them. Like, all right, you go to that corner. You go to that corner. But I like it because it's like at that point in the movie, like, it like subverts. I mean, even before that, but it even shows you further like, oh yeah, this is not like a stereotypical like Hollywood. I mean, it is a Hollywood movie, but some of the tropes they kind of like subvert and like change up on you. And also the ending, it's good. It's good as well. It's a good ending. You know? They kind of tie a bow at the end, but at the same time leave it up to you to figure out as well. But as a standalone movie, it can, if that's it, that's fine. But if they want to like add more to that story or those characters, they could do that as well.
Awesome. Yeah, and do we want to say what Danny Tanner's occupation was, or should we leave it for the comments and drop it on the next episode?
Yeah, well, I guess we could talk about the next episode. I have no clue. And yeah, sure. If you know what Danny Tanner's occupation in Full House is, please put that in the comments below.
Yeah, put it in the comments below, and whoever leaves the first comment, I'm going to send them some Dogecoin. I'll send you 40 Dogecoins.
So what is that, like 40 Dogecoin is what, $10?
40 Dogecoins, I think so.
Not even $10?
$10, but it has the potential to become more than that.
You never know. You could be the next David Cho.
Yeah. So now we're going to start Dogecoin trivia on our episodes, I guess. You know what? Maybe we could cut this part out if you want. But I found out, we're trying to push our subscribers. So if you're watching this video, please hit the subscribe button.
Of course.
But I found out this awesome thing this other person was doing in another format. It wasn't for YouTube or anything, but I figured like we could do this for subscribers. So what he was doing is, if you subscribe, his was a different thing, but if you follow him on his whatever, we play Mega Millions every week, right? Like we buy one ticket of Mega Millions.
Okay.
And if we win the Mega Millions, whoever subscribed that week, we send $10,000.
Like a raffle?
Exactly, yeah. And then whoever is subscribed to us, we send them $1,000. But if you subscribed that week or commented, on the video of that week,
it's an incentive.
We send them $10,000. I think it's pretty funny because
you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket, kind of thing.
Exactly. So if you comment on every episode, if we win, you would get $10,000.
Yeah, the only comments I get from like my YouTube page or my Instagram are always like, "Hey, promote this on like this page," or if you want to get more views, just click on this link. I'm like, oh Jesus.
There's a little bot action going on.
A lot. It's like I don't even. It's like ridiculous amount. The bots are just too much.
Yeah, so there's 2 new things that we could implement. We'll see if it carries on, the Dogecoin trivia and the Mega Millions. You could win with us. But
why not?
We'll see.
I mean, you just threw that out on me right now. I didn't even know I was going to mention that.
Yeah, I know. But, I just threw it out.
I like that idea. I mean, the real issue, it sounds like a lot of self-promotion here, which I guess it is. But, there is this sort of desire to grow and desire to, you put time into something and, you see growth and you want to continue that growth. And which we have, which is good, which is awesome. But I do feel like not to, like, bite the hand that feeds me because this is going up on YouTube, but there's like this weird like algorithm thing where like you put out stuff and for whatever reason like people don't see it. Like I have friends that say, yeah, I'm subscribed, and when was the last time you made a like video, like, because I haven't gotten any, and I'm like, there's like 16, 15 episodes. And like, wait, I only saw episode 3. I'm like, what? Like, what's going on?
That's why the third step of the smash, the little bell. If you don't click that bell and turn the notifications on, it won't let you know when we posted an episode.
Yeah.
And let's say you watched a lot of Chris Farley outtakes that week. When you open your YouTube, it's going to be a bunch of Chris Farley stuff.
There's even times when, because I don't upload the videos, Jose does. And this time you uploaded it. And you're like, oh yeah, I uploaded it. I'm like, you did? And I looked it up like, oh yeah, you did. Like, so even I don't even get the videos when it's up sometimes.
Yeah, we got to make sure to hit the notification bell. This way, I think the notification bell will actually send you a phone notification. Like it'll, like, how it pops up on your home screen, and it'll say, commented on your video, whatever. It'll pop up that we released a new video. So definitely hit the bell, hit the like, and hit the subscribe for us. This has been another wonderful episode. We got a lot of movies out there for you guys to check out. Leave some comments if you check them out, what you think about them. Thank you so much for checking out another episode. This is Words Are Tough. My name is Jose Rodriguez, and my co-host.
I'm David Diokendo.
And thank you so much. See you next time.
Bye-bye.